And here we go. Hello everybody. Welcome to this live show. And as we have little things that's starting up, nice to have everybody here. And so we're going to check it out. So hey everyone, welcome to this radio show. This is a shortwave tuning the bands. For those that wonder, last week I wasn't there for the wideband show because of tech duties. I've been having a little more tech jobs because of I need a little more money, and unfortunately that's the thing that everybody needs to live. So when I have too many jobs, the one that actually suffers is unfortunately the wideband hangout, for the reason that it's the least popular of all the live shows. So today it's tuning the bands. We're going to tune the shortwave bands, and it's I think going to be fun. So my name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We're here every Fridays at 2000 hours UTC, unless I got tech jobs and I can't. And also tomorrow is a shortwave radio show also. Tomorrow we're going to take a look at all of my radios one by one and see what is what the story behind all of these little radios. So welcome everyone. Nice to have everybody on board. And it's always cool to do these live shows every week. So in the IRC chat, I will say hello to Dan Can, listening to WHRI 15710, Scotty Tier 6 in Toronto, listening to Cuba on 15140, SG2 East Nebraska, and nice to have you here. Michael Bott, hello there. DKA2, nice to have you here. It's sunny here too, by the way. It's really, really nice and sunny over here. On the other chat room, I'm going to say hi to Jerry. I'm going to say hi to iMapper from Moscow. William Helms in Florida, hello there. John Ritson, hello there. And yeah, well, last week we weren't on, so unfortunately. Hello there, Bobby Burgess. Nice to have you on board on the radio shows. Michael Butt and Scotty Tier 6 that are also here. F.O. Welsh, hello there from Ottawa. Brett Wayne, hello there. Nice to have you on board. It's a sunny and rather cool Montreal day. About minus 6 Celsius here, which is about, what, 20 Fahrenheit, something like that. So pretty much a lot of you know, it was nice sunny day, but rather cold at this time. And what else do we have? James Megawatt, hello there. Nice to have you on board. Didn't mean to forget you. Leonardo Monjaro, hello there, Leonardo. Nice to have you on board. Matthew Kelleher from Denver, Colorado. Hello there. Jerry's listening to the Trans-Provincial Net on 7055 lower sideband. So really cool to have everybody here. John Brown, hello there. And yes, Bobby, I have heard of global tuners. I use it actually very often to tune around signals from other continents. I like using a few of the receivers. One that I use regularly is the Hong Kong receiver, because I like to listen to stations that I know I can't receive here, but that are audible through that receiver. And really like Global Tuners. It's pretty nice. One of the nice websites. And for a while there, I was thinking of maybe even like maybe hooking up my my ICR 8500 on Global Tuners. Going to be cool. John Brown, no, I do not use DPMR. Thomas Brogan, hello there from Scotland. Nice to have you on board. James Megawatt received his R9012 today from Texan, and pretty nice. Yeah, it is possible. It is possible because you sometimes, first of all, Morse code is just an on and off signal. So yes, you can still receive CW. It's just that usually you don't have the tone. But if two signals mix together, you can actually receive CW through one of the signals that will create a heterodyne. So it's normal, and you're probably hearing close to the bottom part of the the R9012 isn't precise in its frequency. It's an analog radio, so you might be actually listening to the bottom part of 7 megahertz and listening to some CW from the ham band, the 40-meter ham band there. So pretty cool. Hey, Mad Radio DXer, hello there. Nice to have you on board. John Risson says it's been surprisingly mild in the UK. So here we had a very mild January, but we're really starting February with a pretty cold temperature. Philip Briggs from Brazil, hello there. Nice to have you on board. VA2XMX Petro, hello there. Nice to have you on board. XNEDXer, good afternoon. Keegan from Northwest Arkansas. 43 Fahrenheit and sunny over there. I believe we should have maybe a snowstorm sometime early next week. I think it's Tuesday that they announced maybe. Mr. Roman, hello there. Nice to have you here. James Megawatt, it's totally normal, like I said. James Megawatt, you're probably receiving the bottom part of the 40-meter amateur band with the Morse code there. So nice to have you on board as usual. What else do we have here? Got a new toy for shortwave, an SDR play, and RSP2. So Raspberry Pi 2. Too early to comment on it yet. I think you're going to have a lot of fun, John. You know what? This is so cool. Hi, Mapper says WebSDR online. Good theme for discussion Sunday. What do you think? Yes, absolutely. I'll keep it. You know what? Tomorrow we're gonna go take a tour of my shortwave receivers. So maybe in 2 weeks, next Saturday's hangout in 2 weeks, maybe we could talk about the online SDR receivers that are available. And if you guys have any SDR receivers you use online, maybe send me a little email at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com and give me your favorite SDR online. Maybe you'll be able to tell me about an SDR that I no idea that exists. So that's going to be pretty cool. Brett Wayne says cold in Western New York. Yeah, pretty much like here. Around 18. That's about the temperature we have here too. We're kind of close together, so we probably have the same weather patterns most of the time. Rather cold too. Simple Electricity, hello there from Czech Republic. Can I ask better receiver, PL380 or 310 ET? You know what? I would believe they are both pretty much equal. I've not tested both of them, but I would think that they are probably very close together. They both use the same silicon integrated 4734 chip, and the PL310 ET is an updated version with, I believe, easy tuning mode added. I got a PL310, but the first edition. So I would say that they're probably the same. So whatever you choose, I would think they are both great. So that for sure, I can tell you that. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Oh, sorry, John Ritson. Thanks for correcting me. It's USB radio tuner via SDR made by SDR Play. Okay, I didn't know that. So the RSP2. Okay, cool. Thanks for the correction. Roger McCarthy, hello there. Nice to have you on board. He's got his RSP2 Pro a couple of days ago. Love it. But today 40 meter is S9 noise. Yeah, noise. Unfortunate noise, I can tell you that. What else do we have here? Thanks, JR. Hello there, by the way. Nice, and thanks for sharing the YouTube link. Nice to have you here. What do we have here? So SG2 Eastern Broadcast says 15,710 S9 plus 30 on the R75. KC9YDN, hello there, says SDR.HU is really cool too. Yeah, I have used that a little bit also. Aussie Orlando, hello there from Australia, says, well, my Saturday morning shortwave show alarm just went off. Nice to have everybody here. Yeah, I have a little clock. Actually, it's an old clock that I bought a long time ago. Nope, not GPS or anything. It's just a good old LCD clock and flashlight. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is cool. I can actually put that on the desk right next to the radio so everybody knows the universal time that I have. And at the same time, you guys can see the delay. So pretty cool. So, but it's an old friend of mine. That I bought that for like $10 at least 20 years ago. And been using it. So really cool to have everybody here. Thanks for being here. Always really fun to have everyone join in the radio shows. Always really cool. And what else do we have? Let me just check here. Just gonna check the indices here. What do we have in our indices? I know there's a kind of a solar wind blowing from a coronal hole on the sun. K index is 3, not too bad, but higher than what I would like. I would like a K of 0 or 1, but we'll see. Doesn't seem to be too bad. Solar flux 75, so it's low, but unfortunately nothing we can do about that. So pretty cool. So Thomas Brogan says the new Texan 8800 you were looking at the same time seems to be causing a bit of a stir on the shortwave forums. Really? In a positive way or a... it's a little expensive. It's mostly that. But is it creating a stir on the positive or negative side? Hello there, PD0PMS. Good evening from Netherlands. Nice to have you on board. By the way, I received your emails. Sorry, I didn't reply back, but I received all your emails, by the way. No problem there, and I checked that and checked them out for sure. So Matt Radio DXer cannot put his Wellbrook out tonight. It's going to be blown away by the winds, so a little stormy in that part of the world. So really nice to have everyone here. So I've been tuning the upper part of the bands to see where the highest signal I can receive, and you know what? Pretty much. Highest signal I've got right now is a amateur radio operator in the 17-meter ward band on 18160. So that's pretty much as high as I'm getting a signal right now. Here, local time 3:14 p.m. in a few seconds, and basically the sun is going to set in about 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours, about an hour and 45 minutes from now. I believe we've just reached the 5 p.m. local time sunset now. So sun is setting almost a full hour later than on the solstice day of Christmas. So pretty cool. And welcome everyone. It's really nice to have you on board. Apart from that, didn't have a lot of time to listen to the shortwave bands this week. I really had so many other things to do, and I was kind of hard pressed with all my schedules. I'm adding a new live show for the Windows channels. I have one channel that I'm moving into the Insider preview of Windows, and it's going to be a special Windows Insider live show, 1 hour show every Tuesday nights. So with all that I'm doing, plus tech jobs here and there, I got to say that my time is very limited to do other things. So one of the things that did suffer this week because of lack of time was, of course, my shortwave listening. So SJ2 is Nebraska says Texan 8800, positive reviews on the shortwave blogs so far. That's pretty good. And talking about, last week I did a few videos of comparing the Grundig G5 with, and all of that. I decided that in the next few days, I am taking out an old friend of mine, and which is the Texan PL600, which is a great radio and one of the first Texan receivers I've bought. And I will be testing it against the PL680 in the coming days. So if you guys enjoy comparing videos of different receivers, that's coming up in the next few days. Also, I have the my shortwave frequency list. I should be able to next week, around Wednesday, Thursday, something like that, I'll be able to release the February edition of my shortwave frequency lists. So if you guys are waiting for that, of course, need to go over it a little more, and I will be checking it out. I have heard about the Spectres of Shortwave documentary about Radio Canada International. I do need to find to check that out. I'm very much interested in watching that documentary, so I need to check that out. So that's gonna be cool. So yeah, PL600 is pretty much the first. Maybe I bought maybe one or two cheap Texans, and then the first real more expensive model that I bought was this PL600. And actually, a friend of mine actually bought it at the same time that I did. He bought a black one. I took the silver colored one, and we received it pretty much at the same time. So he was looking for a portable shortwave receiver that was good enough to use and not too expensive. So I think that's going to be cool. So we'll compare the 600 and the 680, and we'll compare the 600 with probably with the Grundig G5 also, so that we have ideas with two Texans and one Texan and one Grundig. I think that's going to be a cool thing to do, and so these videos coming up in the next few days for sure. Richard in Atlanta, Georgia, nice to have you on board. We'll give you a voice. Here we go. And hello there, shortwave guest. Do you think when everything going to digital, even shortwave radios, so be no more shortwave? I do not think shortwave is going digital. It will not. It will not. I can tell you that. So there's DRM stuff like that were tried, but I think considering the market for shortwave, I think it's going to stay pretty much analog. But it's concentrating a lot on different parts of the world. And oh yeah, finally, that Radio Australia is gone. It was kind of a sad moment, just tuning 95, 80 kilohertz around 1200 UT and just hearing static. And I was like, oh man, it's gone now. So of course there's legislation. There's a senator or a congressman in Australia that wants to bring it back. There's different things happening. So let's cross our fingers. As long as the transmitter sites are not dismantled, we can still hope of a comeback. We'll see. So oh really, Richard? There's a sporadic E-skip yesterday around 0 UT, receiving 25 megahertz loud and clear. Wow. And or the 3-watt CW beacon from Kearns, Utah. And then everything faded 20 minutes later. Could also hear WWVH on 15 megahertz all yesterday evening. Wow, that was cool. That was cool. I wonder if it made it up to here. I like sporadic E-skip. That's like you just try one evening and wow, all the signals are alive and in a range where it's like they shouldn't be, and it's really cool. It's really cool when you think about it. So, yep, that's really going to be a nice tryout here. So, pretty cool. What else do we have here? Jose Luis Pena, hello there from Madrid, EC4TR. Always nice to have everybody on board, including some amateur radio operators. Pretty cool. Mad Radio DXer says rural and fisheries workers have complained about the closure as wireless technology for remote Australia is very slow. Yeah, you know, I know. I can tell you that it's sad. So really sad. Yep, PL in the 80s seems to be a great receiver. Everybody that owns one seems to really like it. I can tell you. So pretty nice. So R8600 still held back by the FCC. Yeah, they're doing all sorts of tests. They're scared that it's going to pass through with some kind of hole in the frequency range or something. So yeah, that would be yeah, for Welsh. I hope to. It would be a nice, good documentary on shortwave. I really want to see that documentary about Radio Canada International, for sure. So let's tune around a little bit and see what we can hear. So I got an amateur radio operator on 18160. It'd be fun to hear something unusual, you know, like last time we heard St. Helena Island. That was kind of cool. So hello there, want to know about? Well, the reviews, the first reviews from what I'm hearing are very positive on the Texan 8800. So, but you know, it is a little expensive, I gotta say. So, really sad. Simple Electricity says they had a wind and snowstorm in the Czech Republic recently, and he wasn't home, didn't put the new mast down, so when he got back home, mast was bended and VHF antenna was completely destroyed. Yeah, these pesky storms, especially when they are you know, there's like an ice storm. So really sad. Ethan Best, hello there, welcome. Says Relay Station Pirate was broadcasting all day on 5150. Let's check it out. Just check it out, see if I hear it. Oh yeah, it's there. Giving me an S9 signal, 5150, with some music. The Pirate Relay Station, 5150. If you're in the northeast of North America, check it out. Interesting signal here. 5150 kilohertz coming in. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's true, John. John Rinson says, you got to give respect to the radio manufacturers that have not given up on our hobby, like Texan and other name brands. That is true. That is true. So, yep, let's cross our fingers that it continues. And, you know, it shows that I think there's a market, because I don't think these companies are just, you know, putting out new radios and hoping they're going to sell. If they're really, you know, putting out these radios, it's because somebody somewhere is buying them for sure. Hossie Orlando says, I didn't pay enough taxes, that's why it's gone. Yeah, well, yep, exactly, JR. You know, the head of these organizations like the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and everything, they, you know, they're young guys, and they just think that shortwave is some kind of thing that nobody listens to. And you know, a lot of people that are younger think that, well, you know, nobody listens to radio today. Everybody listens to the radio on the internet. which is not at all the case, you know, and it's really sad. So, you know, I still hear, of course, the ABC Australia on my internet radio, but that's not kind of cool, you know. I don't find it cool to listen on the internet. It's not something I want. It's cool on the radio. And yeah, I'll see Orlando, new net neutrality. You know, I talk a lot about net neutrality on my tech channels, and it's something that is you know, getting beaten and battered everywhere around the world. And I really hope that, you know, there would be a strong net neutrality law everywhere around the world. In the United States, it was going towards that, but now with the new president, they're kind of moving away from that. Net neutrality is in danger, and it's something that is a problem. And like you say, with net neutrality being kind of gone sometimes, internet will be more expensive, and I don't know. Will it make shortwave popular again? I'm not sure it will. You know, it's like we old geezers are all in shortwave, but the young generation has no idea. Scotty Tier 6 says CRTC won't stop the R8600 here in Canada. I'm getting one as soon as Radio World gets one. Cool. I really am looking forward for you posting a few videos about that, Scotty. Let me know when you do. It's going to be cool. JR says, frankly, I think the decision makers didn't know a great deal about what they were doing. They just followed the examples of other countries. You know, they want to save money. And they look at that shortwave thing and they like, well, everybody listens on the internet. What's that shortwave thing? It's useless. But they have no idea what it is. They have no idea what it is. And they just, you know, shut it down and are really ignorant of shortwave. So, I gotta tell you that. Really sad to have lost that station. That is, you know, I brought up my book, my QSL book the other day, and I started looking at my Radio Australia QSLs from the 80s, and I mean, Radio Australia had such beautiful QSL cards. They were really nice. And it's sad to see, you know, that it's gone. At least I've got some souvenirs. There's a few recordings of Radio Australia on my channel, and there's lots of Radio Australia recordings on different YouTube channels. But, you know, let's see what's going to happen, you know. So, we'll see. We'll see. And, yeah, you know, there's, it's like Radio Canada International here. You know, that Radio Australia's demise very closely resembles the Radio Canada International demise here in Canada. People that think shortwave is an old thing that nobody wants to listen to, and basically they're you know, just cutting the plug because they don't want to pay for that you know, multi-million dollar expense, and they're like, well, you know, let's focus on our own stuff, and who cares about shortwave? And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad, and you know, it makes me, I find it even funny sometimes, because, you know, it's like we talk about it's a money decision, but when you look at, you know, Australia or Canada, and you look at their national budget and how much money, you know, these countries have, technically, you know, and then you look at Greece, that basically is, you know, right down in those countries that have no more cash and no more money, and that they still keep Voice of Greece on the air. And, you know, it kind of makes you think, why is Voice of Greece still on the air when countries that have much more money to spend on things like that, they take it off? Kind of a funny thing here. So, like that you guys in the UK are talking about how a few snowflakes in the UK makes everything stop. Here you get a feet of snow and it's life as usual. It's just funny. Um, NDK2 says relay station 5150 set on HF Underground that it'll be broadcasting Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So the East Coast listeners should have some nice daytime music. So Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays we should hear 5150 kilohertz. That's cool. Pretty cool. Brett Wayne says 5150 is there but weak. So, hey Jeff, KD5QDO from Southeast Texas. Nice to have you here. W2AEW from New Jersey in the USA. Thank you. Welcome to the show. And yeah, that's the thing. There's a few, there's of all of you guys, we have a few young shortwave listeners in their 20s. And, but, if you look around you, I'm pretty sure that you don't have any other friends that do shortwave at that age. Hey, I'm 48 and almost 48, and I don't have a lot of people around me that do shortwave. So there's probably a lot less at the in their 20s that actually do shortwave. So really, yeah, I did see that Thomas Brogan was talking about Texan Australia that were up in arms, and actually even I believe somebody got interviewed on the ABC talking about that decision and how it's short-sighted. And basically, really is, sad, really sad, can tell you that. And can tell you that. Really, really sad. And, well, simple electricity, that's, I don't know, that's the thing, we have these people that are young and still do these radio stuff. Just by your name, Simple Electricity, I see an interest it opens to me an interest in electronics and all sorts of things like that. So I can tell you, it's not everybody, and I think, the young generation today, I don't see a young teen building an electronic circuit of some sort, or, when I was 14, 15. I had these electronic kits, and I would build, little radios. And I remember having a kick building a solar-powered AM radio. And boy, I was happy. On a nice summer day, I'd put the solar panel and the sunlight, and I'd listen to the radio through that little AM radio, and I'd be just so happy to see that it works. And but you don't see that anymore. I can tell you that. Ethan is 19, started listening at 13, licensed ham at 14. That's pretty good. I can tell you that. And F.O. Welsh says, I'm 24 and I've only just dove into shortwave last year. I don't know how many new enthusiasts there are at my age or younger, but we do exist. Oh, for sure. So, yep, Ethan, Voice of Greece is only in Greek. I believe they have only Greek language now. Maybe a little. I'm not sure. I saw somewhere they have maybe a few minutes of English at one specific period of time in their schedule, but it's not an official broadcast or anything. But they're mostly Greek language. But if you like Greek music, they have an excellent choice of Greek music, and that, well, even if you don't speak Greek, you still can listen to the music, so it's pretty cool. It's like Radio Nacional Amazona in Brazil. I mean, I don't understand Portuguese, but I gotta say that if you want to have some great Brazilian music, that station is amazing. In the evening, they often have some really cool music. So it's at least you have one universal language that is music on the airwaves. So I started listening. It shows I started listening to shortwave officially at the age of 13, but my interest in radio started maybe at the age of 10 or 11. And it's been there always, for sure. Full Web shows you do play a big part in making a new generation aware of this hobby. Yeah, you know, using YouTube is part of it, because the average age of viewers on YouTube is very young. You know, it's like 21 years old or something like that. And I'm not even sure if it hits 20 years old. It's a medium that is mostly a very, very young age medium. So I have been able to get some older people interested in what I do on YouTube, which is quite interesting, considering that there's a smaller number of older viewers on YouTube than young viewers. Still, I'm, you know, hoping that some young generation, you know, guy or girl is going to come across a live show like this and say, what's this all about? And maybe it's going to spark a little something, and they're going to be interested. So, you know, it's just cool. And I think, you know, we got to continue. My plans are really to continue. And you know, we are oddballs. Yes, we are. If a Welsh knows his grandfather, who's a ham, and pretty cool. Brett Wayne says 3 feet of snow shows us down a little in Western New York. Slows us down. Yeah. So yeah, okay, yeah, that's true, James Megawatt. It is true that the Arduino and the Raspberry Pis, there are a lot of people getting into electronics through that. Yeah, okay, yeah, you got a point there. You got a point there. And yeah, MDK2 says listen to Radio Australia the last day from 2100 until they switched to 17840 when they switched to 17840 to 030 when it faded out completely, and wish you could have heard the waltzing Matilda interval signal. Yeah, that is cool. That's true. You know, the only thing I hate about Radio Guinea Conakry is that they have a low modulation. So yeah, we'll get to it, John Ritson. We'll scan the bands. We'll talk a little bit about stuff, and you know, anything goes, as everybody knows. Hey there, David in Barcelona. Raptor 22 Stealth. Nice to have you on board. And it's pretty cool. And well, you know, my first thing, James Megawatt, about what I do is at least maintain the interest in the shortwave hobby. I think that was my first idea when I started posting videos, is let's try to at least maintain a healthy shortwave hobby with some radio listeners and have fun. And if I get the possibility to make shortwave popular again with people that didn't know it existed, and you know, I've got some great examples that follow me, I think this is really nice, because that's even better than just, you know, maintaining. And so it's really cool to see that, and it's really cool to have everybody here. And if I can add a few listeners to the shortwave frequencies, hey, why not? That's a cool thing, I think, and pretty cool. So really nice. Hey, Chris D, nice to have you on board. Really cool. Let me check all the chat rooms. I'm sorry if I take a little time sometimes to listen to or to answer some of you, but I am I will you know, try to do my best. So yeah, that is true. JR says international visibility suffers too when you are just a website among many, rather than a voice on the radio dial. You know, that's what I always say, and that's one of the things that I always bring up when an international voice wants to leave shortwave. An example that I always give is, you know, I loved Radio Sweden. It was one of my favorite stations. And Radio Sweden was nice because it had a very Swedish look at what was happening in Sweden, and of course its view of the Swedish view of international events. And when they left, I had sent them a email, and I told them, after you are gone from shortwave, Sweden will be that country with many other countries around the world where we won't know what's happening anymore. I know what happens, like just an example. I know what's happening in Romania because Radio Romania is giving us some news of all sorts of little things happening over there. But if Radio Romania would leave, I won't know what's happening in Romania, and I'm not going to take the time to go to some website that's going to give me Romanian news because it's not the same thing for me. So, it's pretty cool, and it's really, really lame. Yeah, the DKA2 says the term internet radio makes as much sense as wireless LAN cable. Yeah, streaming programs via the World Wide Web is not radio. Well, it's radio because if you are using a Wi-Fi radio, but I understand totally what you mean. It's not radio. It's internet streaming. We can't call it radio really. So, JR, the CBC, they really that was Radio Canada International is the best example of how the CBC hated Radio Canada International, and they were so happy to take it down that they really made sure that they could destroy the transmitters and the antennas as fast as possible so that nobody can actually bring it back, because everything was gone. Everything was gone. So, at least we still have Radio New Zealand. And by the way, Radio New Zealand did issue a statement saying that they were going to continue, and they are committed to shortwave. So that's a good news, really good news. So, Scully Tier 6 says kids don't want anything without a touchscreen these days. Yeah. Okay, can I hear the BBC on 11.810? Let's check it out. Yeah, not super strong, but it's there. Let's try 12095 is one also that I often hear. Let's check it out. $12,095 is better. Let's check 9915. Rather weak. So 12095. There's a BBC World Service from the Ascensions Island transmitter site. 12095.
In the country, the National Liberation Army, better known really as the ELN, they're going to start formal peace negotiations on February the 7th.
Not super strong.
Functional elements of society. If an agreement is reached, then the group will be following in the footsteps of FARC, which recently did its peace deal with the government. But at the moment, the ELN rebels are active in the country. We've got first a full report here, and it's Natalio Kosoy looking at the impact of the ongoing ELN conflict.
If you look at 11.810, it's pretty much in the noise here. So as we're getting closer to spring, that signal should actually be better. Hey, Neil Toombs, hello there, welcome. Nice to have you on board. D. Anders, hello there from Germany. Nice to have you here. Bobby Burgess says, does anyone just listen to your portable radio on a regular day and SDRs on rainy days and every night? I listen, personally, I listen to shortwave only on radios. My I don't go online to radio listen except for specific things like stations that I cannot tune at my location. But um, I listen to shortwave mostly. The only thing I do a little bit on the internet with internet radio is that I will listen like to BBC NewsHour, stuff like that on the internet radio. Only, only if I have no possibility of receiving it at home. If I have a possibility whatsoever that I can hear it on shortwave or on radio, I'll favor the radio. But I'll listen to the stream on the internet via my internet radio if I have to. And I know that I won't be able to listen to. So, that's also a problem with the internet. Like Man Radio DXer says, yeah, BBC sometimes blocks football matches on streams online. There's so many blocks of things online. I tune my internet radio sometimes just going through stations, and I get, so many times, oh, that content is not available where you are. Or this content is not available where you are, or like you say, BBC having some football matches, and it's going to say, oh, sorry, but you can't have that in your country. It's like, what the hell, you stream or you don't. I hate that of internet broadcast or internet streaming stuff. That's one of the things I hate, really, really. So, really sad. Radio is very useful. I'm one of the things that surprises me today is that a lot of households do not have a basic AM/FM radio. They just rely on TV, and if the power goes out, you don't have any news anymore. I can tell you that. Matthew Kelleher says, I use online SDRs to hear things I can copy at home, exactly like what I do. And otherwise, it's my receivers. Same here. David says, here in Spain, Radio Estadio España in Spanish is available as one of the radio stations available through local DVB-T multiplex, same as TV. Yet, yes, only for local audiences, only. So, that's amazing. The only experience, I don't have personal experience with the mini whip antennas, Jose Luis, but it seems to be pretty surprising, I gotta say. Brett Wayne says 11810 is S7 to S9 in Western New York. So, yeah, Bobby Burgess says only we can rent to own radio receivers and outdoor antennas. Yeah. And why do cars never have shortwave radio? Yeah, here in North America it never took off, but I believe in Europe a lot of cars had shortwave built in their radios. But here in North America it never picked up. As far back, as young as I am, and remembering when my dad had these, the cars we had in the 70s, none of them ever had shortwave. None of them. They were AM, FM radios only. So, it's one of those things that you're wondering why it's like that, and it's funny, It's really, really weird. So, what else do we have here? JR says BBC on 11810 with a near perfect signal in northwest Germany. So, yeah, it's that signal is for Africa, so you guys in Europe are more into the general vicinity, so of the transmission. Oh yeah, Ascension Islands is a great QTH. I gotta say that. So really amazing place to transmit from. JR says, considering that they are probably target Africa, it's surprising that they can be heard well in America too. Yeah, well, you know, that's shortwave antennas for you. They're not perfect. You know, it's not like a dish like that beams a very narrow stream towards a target area. It's more of a very broad transmission, and you know, there's part of that signal that also is moving from the backside of the antenna. It's not perfect, you know. So that's why it gives a good signal here too. Orlando says, too right about Brazilian music. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Too many stuff on the internet to really, you know. I just look at my internet radio, okay? One of the things that they really want to do is try to tell you, oh, this is a great box, you know? And now they tell you, oh, there's over 26,000 streams on your internet radio. Okay. Anyone ever tried to find specific streams in there? It's damn complicated. And you are working a hell of a time just to find something you like. And I'm sorry, but any stations are going to tell me, oh, you can listen on the internet now. It's always super complicated to have that on your internet radio or anything. It's, you know, it ain't radio. It's very different. So, yep, I gotta tell you that. Nope, never seen an AM radio with a touchscreen, but I'm sure someday it's gonna be there. I can tell you that. What are the tones I'm hearing on 10.895? Let's check that out. 10.895. I'm not hearing anything, Richard, here in Montreal. Scotty Tier 6 says 11.810, deader than a dead dog in a dead dog factory. But I'm not receiving that signal, Rich. So maybe it's something closer to where you are, I would say. Probably. Hey, Carol. Hello there. Nice to have you on board, as usual. No, these days, I know that they don't, but I believe in the 70s and 80s, it was common to have shortwave in cars in Europe. More than here. Here in North America, it was totally impossible. Carol says nothing on 11.810 in Oregon. So, nice to have little reports here. Brett Wayne says he had a shortwave radio in his 66 Volkswagen van. Wow. That was Europe. That's a European brand. So, pretty amazing. So, pretty cool. So we're going to continue. I'm going to continue tuning around the bands. We'll see what signals we have. I'm going to go back up to the 17 meter band and slowly go down, and we'll see what we can hear. Well, 16 meter band is pretty much dead, as you can see. There's a few transmissions of HF facsimile on 17151 and 17145. I believe the 17145 comes from California. Not very strong tonight, but WWCR on 15825.
Don't know what's going on, but Lord, Father, I'd die for him. What can I do with him? He says, forgive him. Just forgive him. He just said, forgive him. And then I told you about that song. My spirit is gone. My spirit is gone. Oh, I'm sorry for all of you folks out there. You might think the old trailblazers kind of silly. Maybe you think I am. That's okay. Let me be silly for Christ's sake. But I tell you, the greatest thing that ever happened to you, my friend, is to take your place as a sinner. Oh, sinner.
In this Sunday's readings,
WEWN, the Catholic religious station from United States, 15610, WEWN. And by the way, that's the only thing, mostly the only thing I do with my internet radio is listen to music streams. For that, internet radio is fantastic. You just choose your stream of the style of music you like and you just let it go. That is probably the best use for an internet radio personally. Hello there, I-Fi 88. Nice to have you on board.
the light of the world, he tells us in the gospel this Sunday.
John Young says 15140, Radio Havana, Cuba. Strong into Montana in English.
With the identity.
Let's just try it out here in Montreal, see if it's there.
Exquisite products. According to the events of...
So this is Radio Havana, Cuba, 15140.
Crystal are amongst the protagonists in the festival with new shapes. As usual, the program includes visits to tobacco leaf plantations in the eastern Cuba region of Vuelta Abajo, considered the cradle of Cuban cigars, tours of famous cigars factories, lectures and practical sessions, marriages, and the Havana Sommelier International Contest. The festival will close doors on March the 3rd with the traditional auction of humidors.
The humidor auction held during the 18th Havana Festival last year contributed 865,000 euros, which were donated to the Cuban health system. High in the auction of 7 humidors on that occasion was a humidor of the Cohiba Special, an exclusive series on the 50th anniversary of that cigar brand, which was sold at 320,000 euros. Thousands of cigar lovers from dozens of countries come to the festival to have a first-hand look at the cigar launches and to learn from the tobacco leaf cultivation culture and the hand-rolling of the exclusive Cuban product. For more information, visit www.habanos.com.
And that's it for today on the Arts Roundup. I'm Javier Gomez.
And I'm Warren Jones. Thanks for your company and see you next time.
This is Radio Havana, Cuba, broadcasting at 15140. So let's go back to 15610 and tune down from there.
The St. Paul's.
Somebody said, well, I never used that before. Boy, I used to do it, and that's not it anymore, you know. And we go from there. Well, they to you in all of our life.
WJHR in Milton, Florida on 15555 upper sideband.
Moses was laid his hands upon him, said, this is the man. And the children of Israel have even hearkened unto him. And said, we're going to follow him just like we did Moses. Yeah, they sure did. They did. They had 30 days of the Lord to reach there. And while he's alive, they murmured against him.
Yeah, I'm always very careful to what streams I'm listening to, David, when I listen to music. Being a big music fan, I do see very, very rapidly with my ears when a stream has a bad quality audio, when it doesn't have a high enough bit rate.
God's got a replacement for all of it. Somebody out there gets in the weeds, they buy place. And every now and then a preacher calls us, how you do it? If you can't go any further, I'd like to come pastor the church. Anything happens to you, I'd like to be the next pastor. I said, I can't make you the next pastor. Well, what these preachers that by the time they get old and start kicking their tires and they're reformed sort of moving, you know, and the church never gets a chance to vote. I can take you down to South Florida where a preacher did that, and he brought his son in as an assistant pastor, and he got a little bit older, and he said, now...
Let's check it out. So 635. The Cuban numbers on 11635. If you've never heard a number station before, this is the Cuban number station, HM01 on 11635. And it has a pretty good signal today on this frequency here. Pretty cool. 11635. Cuban number station. Yeah, I'm not getting here on the east coast. I'm not receiving the Radio New Zealand. It's too early, and in winter time, I almost never hear it.
Soyez les bienvenus, chers amis, à cette émission quotidienne.
Well, this is Radio Havana Cuba that now has switched to French language program. Radio Havana Cuba, 15140.
Aujourd'hui, une matinée chaude avec des températures de 28 degrés.
Hey Ringo Kaloon, nice to have you here. Says 11635, making it all the way to British Columbia on his SDR. Really cool. And, yeah, it was the Chariots of Fire on Radio Havana Cuba. So, yeah, they use it regularly when they close down their broadcasts on Radio Havana Cuba. That's why I cut the sound pretty fast, because I don't want to have a copyright claim on my channel.
Par le Congrès Pédagogie 2017, l'UNESCO qualifie cette rencontre de plateforme de dialogue. Notre chronique sportive est...
Yes, Tabernouche, Scotty Tier 6.
de la Caraïbe de baseball où participe une équipe cubaine. Dans Cuba au jour le jour, nous vous parlons du blocus États-Unis contre Cuba et le commentaire qui met un point final à notre émission se penche sur les statistiques en faveur de l'intérêt.
In the evening, Cuba 6,000 kilohertz is a good, usually a very good frequency for pretty much all of North America. I can tell you that.
Le président du
Barely receiving WWV. Now we're getting into the 20 meters amateur radio band.
Puerto Rico, vayamos a San Sebastián, pero Negato no quiere gastar pochado de gasolina de acá, pero si ahora se retiró, pues está trabajando entonces, está trabajando en la ambulancia porque quiere. Pues yo no sabía que ya Jaime de la edad de nosotros se retiró cuando se retiró a 65.
Well, Philip Briggs is hearing the 8952 kilohertz Cordoba Volmet, loud and clear in southern Brazil. John Young's receiving New Zealand, weak but readable in Montana, 15720. Meter band not as lively as it was the last time when we heard St. Helena Island.
In nature will make you do what the first recipients of that
WWCR, Nashville, Tennessee, USA, 13845.
Word points out that God intended the tithe also to be a limit or break on an overgiving nature, in order that God himself, whose nature it is that is making you want to give, the giving nature God is not...
Yeah, DKA2. Maybe that happens often and we don't know it. We go over alien contact attempts on shortwave and we just don't know about it.
The tithe becomes a sane...
You're going to hear the torp sounds of the Kodar. Kodar is a type of radar that's on the coast. It's all around the coast of the United States, and it's a type of radar to see the size of the ocean waves. So that's the little chirps you hear on around 13,470. Oh, there are, JR. There are. But every time I hear his voice, I quickly tune past the signal. So I've heard at least 4 frequencies since I've been tuning. But I'm quick at just moving on to something else. But Bobby Burgess, if you have an Android phone, you can use an SDR with your Android phone with SDR Touch. I actually use this little SDR on my SDR Touch regularly, and I even tried to use the Soft 66 on my Android phone. So that's one way of actually using a portable device to get to listen to the oops, sorry here. WTWW often has no modulation on 15105. Happens pretty often. Yep, same thing. XNEDX, there are some a little slower chirps around 4.5 megahertz around there. These are also Kodar radars. WEWN from the United States in Spanish. Radio Nacional Amazonas, not very strong right now, but will actually be stronger. This is from Brazil in Portuguese.
Per esempio, dice che sono robótica, no.
música a otro. Y me siento fallado necesariamente por eso. Pero si no conseguimos canalizar toda esa energía, no podemos acelerar los procesos o reducir contra la revolución digital.
Serão as ações comunitárias do desenvolvimento social. O objetivo é a criação de condições para que as pessoas possam vencer a pobreza por meio do trabalho e do empreendedorismo. De Brasília, Carolina Grajadei. Ciência e tecnologia. Fique por dentro.
E a gente está vendo aí que os brasileiros estão cada vez mais conectados à internet.
E o uso dessa tecnologia avança. Dos computadores e telefones celulares, a internet chega a eletrodomésticos e outros objetos do nosso dia a dia.
O governo federal pretende fazer um plano para desenvolver esse novo mercado que pode trazer novos benefícios para o país.
Você sabe o que é a internet das coisas? Vou explicar. Esse termo se refere a uma revolução.
The WRMI has reduced not only the amount of brother stare frequencies a little bit, they have also lowered the amount of frequencies used at one same time. Basically, they seem to have lowered their output on shortwave a little bit. I guess probably brother stare lowered the number of the amount of money they're sending to transmissions on shortwave, maybe. So, hey, hi Cholakov, nice to have you on board from South Florida. Ivan, NO2CW. Hey there, Danny. Nice to have you here. And always cool to have everybody on board. As we're tuning the shortwave bands, we're already 1 hour into, a little more than 1 hour into the show. Today is tuning the shortwave bands. Remember that today is, of course, our shortwave tuning. But tomorrow, at 2000 hours UT, is a shortwave radio show. I will be at the radio storage area, and we're going to look into each radios that I have and see the ones that, some have stories behind them. Talk a little bit about what I think of each radio that I will actually show. And I think it's going to be really fun. So that's tomorrow at 2000 UT. JR, I have heard 11711 Radio Argentina al Exterior, but very, very weakly, around 11710.8, about 1 or 2 weeks ago. So basically, it's not strong enough to really listen to. Usually around the end of February, month of March, it gets better. So maybe I'll be able to receive it a little more. So, but it is on the air. I did receive a weak signal on 10710.8 about a week or two ago. DX was just here on my lap about 5 minutes ago, and now he's gone to take a little nap probably. So, but they are still on the air, and they have said that they are committed to keeping the shortwave also on the air. The problem with Radio Exterior de España, Radio Argentina al Exterior, is that their transmitters are hold, and they are not giving an output that is very strong. So that's why it's hard to receive. We'll keep tuning in. Hey, no problems, James Megawatt. Take care, my friend. So, John Ritson, I looked at my radios and I was like, okay, I might not have the time to go through all of them. So if I don't go through all of them, we'll split it into 2 shows and do all the radios in 2 shows. But I think it's gonna be cool tomorrow. You guys are gonna see maybe radios you don't even know I own. And I've got all sorts of little radios here that, and some have interesting stories with them. I think it's gonna be really cool. The Caribbean Beacon 11775. They're also on 6090 in the evening from Anguilla. I've noticed recently that their modulation is not very good and pretty much distorted. So the transmitter must have a problem. So island of Anguilla in the Caribbean, 11775, which is a Caribbean beacon.
Does not understand that every child of God, every single creature that calls on the name of the Lord Jesus Christ was born in darkness.
Nope, Danny, it's Radio Australia is gone. They've left on the 31st of January, and they are gone from Shortwave, unfortunately. I've been trying a few times this week, just hoping that maybe they'd be on. So I've been trying 95, 80 kilohertz in the morning, but it's dreadfully empty and just full of static.
Is the idea that we go back into the sea, chase after that which we've caught, that is gone. There's a great passage, and I know you've read it so many times, and it seems like textbook content, but you've read it. You know, the dog returning to its vomit.
我们玩过一个有趣的心理游戏，把半杯水放在桌上，有的人说，哎，只剩下半杯水，有的人说，啊哈，还有半杯水。前者着眼在那空了它没有的部分，而后者呢
By the way, EIBI Space, the list that I used to check for station, have updated their shortwave schedules on February 1st. So check them out. It's always fun. This is a great list, a very complete list of shortwave broadcasts. The station you're hearing right now is from Madagascar, and it's Madagascar World Voice New Live Station. I believe this is like a relay of KNLS in Mandarin, and this is from Madagascar.
所以呢，他总是不快乐。另外一位老先生因为有严重的肺气肿，得住院，天天睡在床上，不能动弹，而且呼吸困难。
Can try 4020. I'm not sure I'm going to hear anything. Let's check it out. 20. You're not hearing anything on 4020, but it's still sunlight here, so might not be a good time. I've heard that many pirates are starting to be broadcasting around 4020, 4030 kilohertz. Maybe you got something like that also. What does it sound like?
那些笑口常开、神情愉快的人，常常是第二种人。他们珍惜他们所拥有的，而且心存感谢。感谢容易吗？好像并不是很容易。
Yeah, I did see that an Australian senator wants to bring ABC, there's Radio Australia back. Let's cross our fingers. Would be really cool. Yeah, probably European based. Here it's, we're still an hour away from sunset, so 4020 is not one of those frequencies I receive a lot of things right now.
清凉的空气，甜美的微笑。
An important period of the year for Slovaks when people...
Radio Slovakia via WRMI on 11580 kilohertz. Radio Slovakia via WRMI, I believe.
In Slovakia, Fasciangi is a period between the Three Kings Day, which is January the 6th, and Ash Wednesday, which for Christians marks the beginning of a 40-day long fast before Easter. It represents the transition between winter and spring, and it's full of all sorts of traditions.
Talking about that, you know what Bobby's talking about? He enjoys what Scotty is doing on his channel. I have a proposition for all of you. If you own a channel, a YouTube channel dedicated mostly to radio, I invite you guys to send me the link to your channel via email at officialshortwaveradio@gmail.com, and or in comments below this video. I think, you know what, one of the things that could be a cool thing to do is I could do a few videos talking about you guys' YouTube channel that talk about radio. I think it's just fair that we can I can talk about your channel also. That would be cool. I think that could be very, very interesting. So I know some of you that have channels, but I could share a little more, and we could try to hype those radio channels and try to get more views. Who knows? I think that could be a cool idea. I think that really could be a cool idea. So Brett Wayne says 11580, 10 over in S9 in Western New York. So hey NS Norfolk, nice to have you on board, my friend. And that's oh, that's cool, man. Radio DXer, really cool. And that's the idea also, to basically talk about other channels. I like talking about other channels that have radio stuff. I mean, it's just only fair to share the fun and share everybody's channel. I think that's pretty cool. So JR says World Voice comes in fine on 11610. SG2 Ace Nebraska says 11610 S8 on the R75. Pretty cool. And this is Radio Slovakia International via WRMI. That's cool. Anything radio, even if it's not just shortwave. If you got some TV, FM, TVDX, a scanner radio, anything, send me your channel. And at the same time, also, if I'm not subscribed to your channel, I'll make sure to subscribe to your channel also. I like to be fair, and I like to subscribe. The only thing, the only rule, once again, is I am happy to subscribe to your guys' channel, but they have to be about radio in general. I get requests all the time about, oh, can you, subscribe to me? And, you look at the videos, and they have nothing to do with radio. So I don't see the point in subscribing into somebody that doesn't have radio stuff, because that's the main idea of this channel. So I think that could be really, really cool. And, well, that could be fun. And maybe somebody that doesn't have a radio channel right now and will watch and say, you know what, I should make a YouTube channel with radio stuff. And that could be cool. So you just send me that, and it's it's only fair that we can share the radio goodness together. I think it's really fun. 11580 has been pretty good here in the evenings, but it's usually one of the best frequencies to listen to. But it does fade out. 11580 fades out for me around 0130, 0200 at this time. In the summertime, it is a much more stable signal in the evening. And I like the fact that they actually relay so many shortwave broadcasters, and it's fun to listen to. So yeah, I have no problem with that. It's okay if your channel is mixed, as long as you have some radio stuff, not just one radio video and 300 other. But yeah, sure. If you've got some radio stuff, I'll be happy to add. I'll be happy. You guys love astronomy. I hope that you guys have seen the very nice Very nice crescent moon and the planet Venus in the west in the evening. It was extremely beautiful to see this week. I had the chance to have a clear evening 2 or 3 days in a row, and I could see every day the moon passing by Venus, which is extremely bright in the west sky. It's really, really cool. My channel's crazy. My channel's like, I don't remember, last count, 3,000 videos I got on this channel, something like that. Just thinking about it, 3,000 videos. I uploaded 3,000 videos. That's just amazing.
Scattered, feeling 3,000 overcast. Temporarily 2100 Zulu until...
Yep, AM radio, no problem. As long as it's radio. AM radio, I have absolutely no problem with that.
1,200 broken, 3,000 overcast. Becoming between 2200 Zulu and 0000 Zulu, wind 020 degrees, 8 knots. From 0300 Zulu, wind 020 degrees, 6 knots, visibility 2 miles, light snow, 800 scattered, feeling 1,200 broken, 3,000 overcast. Calgary, valid from Sefou at 210.
This is Gander Radio, the Volmet station out of Gander, Newfoundland, Canada, with weather. And I'm back in 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to get a beer refill.
4,000 scattered, feeling 7,000 broken. From 0000 Zulu, wind 360 degrees, 12 knots. Visibility more than 6 miles, 2,000 scattered, feeling 8,000 broken. Temporarily 00.
Now this is Gander, not Trenton. I haven't heard Trenton military in quite a while. I've tried this week 6754, but it's not propagating to me. But I know it's on because a lot of you have been saying that you've been hearing it lately. It's just that it's probably propagating over me.
Broken, 4,000 overcast. Churchill, at 1802 Zulu, valid from Sefou at 1800 Zulu until the 4th at 1800 Zulu. Wind 320 degrees, 15 knots, gusting 25 knots. Visibility more than 6 miles, 2,000 scattered, feeling 4,000 broken. Temporarily 1800 Zulu until 1200 Zulu. Visibility 2 miles. Ice crystal, blowing snow, feeling 2,000 broken, 3,000 overcast. Broadcast of 2100 Zulu METAR observations. Kujuak, time 2100 Zulu, wind variable, 2 knots, visibility 15 miles, ice crystal, few clouds, at 3,500, few clouds, at 11,000, feeling to 4,000, broken, temperature minus.
WWCR 9980 kilohertz.
No, certainly is.
Weaker than usual. It's stronger than that usually.
One by one as they come off the press? Does he sit there? That would be a full-time job, probably, signing all of these individual notes. But probably is.
So what's interesting is they used to have a lot of departments that were assigned.
Yeah, why not? If you guys have ideas of videos that I could do, I got to say that sometimes, you sit down and you want to do some cool videos, but you're just like blank, and you don't know exactly what type of video you should do or what you want to talk about. So if you guys have ideas of something, basically, you can tell me, and I'll be happy to add that to my list of things to do. And I think no problem. I sometimes try to think what other types of basic how-to videos I could do to really make it more interesting. Also, so. Yeah, I do. I am already subscribed to Oxford Shortwave channel. It is a great channel, and actually he comes here from time to time in the live chat. So Oxford Shortwave channel is a great place. I'm already subscribed to him. So it's also one thing that I can say is that sometimes we think that we're doing a very basic video. And we got to forget, sometimes, even when we've been shortwave listeners for a long time, there are times when we kind of forget some of the basic stuff. And it's cool to go back and, learn a little more again. So, for sure. Hey there, Tony Salinas. Nice to have you here. Rob Wagner. Hello there. Good morning. Pretty cool. At Mount Evelyn, 35 Celsius. Whoa, that's a very warm day indeed. And here it's a really cold one. Let's hope that the fight for Radio Australia is not over, and that maybe one morning I can tune in 95.80 and it's gonna be there. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Some more advanced stuff. That's something that also need to post maybe a few more videos of antenna stuff. I haven't focused on a lot of videos on antennas here, and that would be something that I know a lot of viewers would like also. So, but let's cross our fingers for Radio Australia. I'd love to turn on my radio one morning and see that 95.80 is back on the air.
Where to go?
Las sinergias y conseguir una mejor promoción, mejor comercialización.
Radio Exterior de España, from where David is in Barcelona. Radio Exterior de España from Spain, 9690 kilohertz.
¿Qué es lo que ha pasado? Pues mire usted, lamentablemente por eso el Ministerio el otro día organizó esta Secretaría General de Pesca en colaboración con la Dirección General de Industrias Agroalimentarias, organizó esa reunión informativa con todo el sector pesquero. Lo que ha sucedido es que nosotros teníamos, tres interprofesionales importantes. Teníamos una que era Interespada, que se dedicaba a la mejora de la comercialización y puesta en valor del pez espada. Teníamos otra que se llamaba Interatún, que también tenía el objetivo de la comercialización y puesta en valor del atún, de los productos del atún, fresco, congelado, en lata, etc. Bueno, estas dos hubo que retirarles el reconocimiento. Ellas mismas, de motu propio, pidieron a retirar el reconocimiento.
DKA2, right now I am at a rhythm of about 5 live shows a week. 1 or 2 for the radio, depending on the week. And I do have 3 on the tech side. 1 with my nephew, and 2 on Tuesdays now. And it is very time consuming to do live shows. Because not only do you have to do the live shows and be there, but also you have to do a live show that you have something to say. So some of the stuff and some of the shows needs to be prepared. So it is very difficult for me to invest enough time to do a daily show. That would be nice, and if I had mostly that to do, I'd be happy to do it. But it's very time consuming, and it's almost impossible for me to do a daily show. I try to do my best to do the most shows possible, but daily show would be very, very difficult. Either for this channel or for the tech stuff. So it's something that would be cool, but very, very difficult. No problem at DKA2. But I try to do my best, and I try to be here as much as possible to do these live stuff.
Eslabones de la cadena de comercialización en los productos de la pesca se unan y formen interprofesionales.
Habrá que superar, supongo, suspicacias por las malas experiencias del pasado, ¿no?
Efectivamente, el sector pesquero, por su propia idiosincrasia, un sector productor.
Hello there, Heron Will.i.am from Wales. Nice to have you on board.
Las diferencias de precios.
And this is Radio Exterior de España, 9690 kHz.
Y el Ministerio tiene enormes, unas herramientas muy valiosas para favorecer y fomentar la interprofesión, como es, como usted sabe, la ley de la cadena alimentaria. La ley de la cadena alimentaria es esencial. Lo que permite la ley de la cadena alimentaria precisamente es eliminar esas suspicacias. Precisamente lo que da es que no haya ningún sector, ningún eslabón que predomine sobre el anterior y que por supuesto haya transparencia entre eslabones. Eso permite automáticamente la confianza entre las partes. La propia ley, la ley de la cadena alimentaria tiene un observatorio que al mismo tiempo permite que se subsanen rápidamente las deficiencias que se puedan detectar entre eslabones.
Claro, porque este tipo de organizaciones requieren consensos muy sólidos para poder salir adelante, ¿verdad?
Requieren consensos, requieren compromisos y requieren participaciones, porque evidentemente la interprofesión tiene muchos objetivos,
Bueno, o sea, ellos se han blindado de manera voluntaria.
This is Radio Marti from the United States. This is Spanish language transmission directed to Cuba.
Que han recibido de manera voluntaria, como te dije, este microprocesador que tiene el tamaño de un grano de arroz y se coloca entre los dedos índice y pulgar para reemplazar las habituales dispositivos y contraseñas de identificación.
Hello there, Matt UK. Oh man, that's true. It's sad to. I have an old MacBook here that cannot run anything else than 10.7.5 also, and but you can get. It's not the latest version, but I believe you can still get a pretty. I've got Google Chrome on my old Mac, and that Google Chrome is a version of about 7 months ago. If you can find that version, it's going to give you a little more possibilities using your Mac. Rich in Atlantis says 9650 Radio Guinea Conakry's S7. Let me just go back here. I've moved over it, but very weak here and send the noise here. Very weak.
Mañana, si tú para abrir la puerta, mamá a mí que cada rato se me pierde la llave, yo tengo que dejarle el dedo así a la puerta, así el cacho y nada más, a la cerradura para que abra la puerta, me parece perfecto.
No, lo malo es que quieran robar o algo así en el centro de trabajo, te cortan el dedo, te cortan la mano para abrir la puerta y es otra situación.
Con lo pacífico que yo soy, si alguien me agarra y me quiere cortar la mano para robarme la casa, y yo sabes que déjame la mano y vamos a la casa. Igual te embulla, te tomas un traguito, lo pasamos bien.
¿Para qué te vas a llevar?
Hacemos amigos y al final compartimos.
Sacrificing for the race. Does that make sense? It's for the God. I know this this is not PC, just correct. You know, we have PC, that's political correct. We have
This is WTWW in Lebanon, Tennessee, USA.
to talk about race anymore, but I am convinced that our race is bred to sacrifice. Now, why is it that we can understand it?
By the way, the January Spectrum Monitor magazine had amazing, a very, very nice article, very, very nice and complete article on WTWW. It was very, very interesting.
We've got big dogs, and they're bred to go after sheep, and Australian shepherds, and so forth and so on. Why is it we can't understand that races of people are very similar? They carry certain traits in their genes. Oh, isn't that terrible? You know, I think this is one of the things on interracial marriage that, first of all, it violates the most basic law of God of kind after kind. But a perfect illustration. My boy was telling me about this dog he got. People sold it to him as a blue heeler. Was that it, a blue heeler? Well, it's just a puppy. You know, a puppy's just basically a football. Well, he might have blue heeler in him, and he does. But he's also got bird dog in him. Some kind of a spaniel, and you can tell by his feet and everything.
To talk with you more about bird and all that stuff sometime, but
True news coming out of WRMI in Florida on 93.95.
well, this is what I feel, you know, that we're in really intense times, and you know, we don't need to be killing each other with friendly fire.
Yeah, well, I tend to keep the both chat rooms, even though there's you know, even though there's the chat room on YouTube that a lot of people enjoy. I think using this chat room is also a must. I'm gonna keep using both, and you know, I go back and forth from one chat room to the other, and so you know, I know some people prefer the RSC chat, and others prefer the you know, the YouTube chat. So you know, like that, I reach the maximum amount of people possible. So Rich in Atlanta says 9420. Greece, weak but readable. And you know, I passed through it and I didn't hear it.
That's what you heard. Anybody listening to that?
That's what you heard.
Everybody who heard it, I think, heard that. So much mailing all over.
I don't know. People are confused about the Knights of Malta. Now we know. Now we know.
Nice to have you back, William.
Which
Gee, I don't need that or whatever, but I will have to clear it up with our people, and that's going to go everywhere. But it's you know, I want you to be true news. I want you to be where this kind of thing doesn't hurt you, especially in relation to other Christians. We don't need to be taking friendly fire right now.
again,
Especially those who are pretty much on the same side.
again, it was not. First of all, it was not my intention to even bring up your name that day.
CNN covered the story, Miracle Baby won't die. But she wasn't dead. They pictured with a carcass on Mogadishu Street after Somalia, and here's another dead body, and they see there's still life. Because God is life. Amen?
WWCR, Nashville, Tennessee on 9350.
United Nations, there was actually I can't remember if he was a captain anyway. He found her, took her to the Somali field hospital, where it was just like a MASH tent where doctors and nurses from the country of Sweden were there working at that time for the United Nations. Sweden was a neutral country. They could do medical work with good conscience as far as what they believed. And so then they took her right out of Somalia to Kenya, and that's what I saw, Miracle Baby from Somalia. And if you read the rest of the story, which you can't read, it goes into CNN. This is what miracles are made of. It goes into the extent of her injuries, and they said this is a miracle. She should be dead. Now that is CNN.
pardon bill, which will be sent to Parliament in an emergency procedure.
Radio Romania International, 7375 kilohertz. Radio Romania International, 7375.
Human rights, and in a bid to harmonize the legislation with some rulings issued by the Constitutional Court. The pardon and amnesty do not apply to rapists, to those accused of corruption and violent acts, as well as to repeat offenders. In an interview on Radio Romania, the Expert Forum chair Laura Ștefan has warned, shortly after the MCV report was published, that measures only circulated at that time would become extremely dangerous if adopted. And that's exactly what happened. Here is Laura Ștefan.
În continuare, un instrument politic utilizat. Pentru că cei de la Comisia Europeană au mai văzut acest tip de operare la România.
We can see a re-evaluation of Romania's progress in the past 10 years. If you release all the offenders who have been sent to jail in the past 10 years, it's only natural that the positive evaluations in this respect turn into negative ones. Besides the criticism attracted by this type of enactment, I believe the worst thing is that the European Commission has seen that Romania's old bad habits, such as the overnight adoption of extremely dangerous laws with a heavy impact on the anti-corruption policies, are still a political instrument these days. Actually, the members of the European Commission have already seen this modus operandi in Romania on what we call the Black Tuesday, or on other occasions when politicians tried to bring overnight amendments to criminal legislation. This is why the European Commission insists on taking mature political action, and we can be confident that Romania becomes a mature country only after politicians in this country prove they can act accordingly. Unfortunately, we see this problem persist in 2017 as well.
But how much can civil society, every Romanian citizen, contribute to the progress of the judicial system? With details on that, here is Laura Ștefan once again.
Eu cred că va fi o țară mai bună și vom ajunge la ridicarea celului doar atunci când...
I believe Romania will become a mature country and the cooperation and verification mechanism will be eliminated only when civil society and the political class learn the ropes of how to talk to each other. Unfortunately, these days the political class does not seem to have an appetite for discussion. I believe this is our mistake, and
I would say, Aaron, that new receivers today, like Texan 660, more modern radios today have very good performance. How would they compare to some older radios? It depends on the radio. I'd say if you compare it to some older Sony receivers, I think these older Sony receivers still rock and still really, really work well. I think some older receivers are still very good. Yet, I would say that today's receivers, like the Texan PL660, for example, are probably a little better. I have a little, some edge over many shortwave portables of the 80s, for example. They're more sensitive, and with today's technology. But you can't think about older receivers without thinking that some of these old radios are still really, really good and still perform extremely well compared to today's radios. But radios like the dxing, the Texan PL660, 680, 880, these are all radios that are excellent and really, really they probably beat many receivers that were used in the 80s or 70s. Interesting, 7310, which is also Radio Romania, but with like a lot of fading on the signal.
Radio Romania International. Hello and welcome to our traditional customs feature, the Roots. According to the traditional calendar, between January the 27th and the 30th, the feast of the Trismetite, the three maiden saints, is being observed. This 4-day period is closely linked to the life which our culture took over from the ancient Asian tradition. In the traditional system of beliefs, the Trismetite, the three maiden saints, was the feast of the three
way. So we know now.
China Radio International out of the Albania transmitter site 7285. China Radio International.
Average or envelope money is actually for kids to keep the evil away. So maybe for people who were born in the 40s, they still have this tradition or mentality in their mind, or at least in their parents' mind. So they still get things, but they don't get money. They get peanuts and candies to expel the evil spirit. And for the generation born in the 50s, they get little money, like 2 cents red envelope money. And it was okay because back in those days, 2 cents can actually, it's not as little as right now. And now the generation born in the 60s actually.
Sony ICF 2001D, or what is also known as the Sony ICF 2010, is an amazing radio. It's one of the best radios ever made by Sony. Interesting, there's a drop in the signal quite fast. Take care, PD0 PMS. Always nice to have you on board.
Yeah. And for generation born in the 90s, they actually are getting a lot more. They're getting 200, 400, and sometimes more than 1,000.
Born in the wrong time.
From one relative. And interesting enough, for me, that generation born in the past 2000 is actually preferring gifts more than money.
Well, let's bring that up.
Yeah,
this is crucial, I think. Why do you think that's happening? Why are we preferring gifts?
I have no idea.
What do your parents do with the money?
Oh, you're talking about that. Actually, for me, it happens. Yeah. It happened to me, which is sad, that his parents used to take the money, take the red envelope money away from me, and they're saying, I'm opening a bank account for you.
السلك الدبلوماسي المعتمد لدى الكرسي الرسولي في 9 من كانون الثاني يناير الفائت لتبادل التهاني بحلول العام الجديد قائلا إن السلام يكسب من خلال التضامن ومنه تنبت إرادة الحوار والتعاون والتي تجد في الدبلوماسية.
Vatican Radio in Arabic on 7250.
الرسولي سيكون دائم الاستعداد للتعاون مع جميع الذين يلتزمون من أجل وقف النزاعات الدائرة ولتقديم الدعم والرجاء للسكان المتعلمين. من مدغشقر توجه أمين سر دولة حاضرة الفاتيكان.
It is true, Radio Romania is one of those cool stations that still is like a good old 80s or 70s shortwave station from a country. It's one of those stations that are that when you listen to it, you have the impression of still listening a good old shortwave radio station from the 80s from Romania. It is a very, very nice one. Pretty cool. So really, really nice. It is a nice station, and it's cool that they're on the air. It's really, really nice.
المطران جالجر خاطب أساتذة وطن.
Not very strong, but this is Radio France International in French, 7205.
Right now. Michigan, about 100 miles north of Detroit. Spelled like the train. H-E-M-L-O-C-K. And I'll give you a report the next time around. And nice to meet you. By the way, the name is Tim. I knew I forgot something. The name is Tim. Texas Ida Mike Tim. N3WBS WBAUHZ. WBAUHZ. Going 3 Whiskey Bravo. Radio on the station would like to say good morning to Shuki. Nice to hear your voice. We'll operate maybe another 2-3 days on long path, and I think the season will be more or less over. Have a great Saturday morning. Take care of you. JA2 God Tango Whiskey, the A21 Hawaii. Arigato, sayonara.
I'm not receiving him, but this is a station from here, the province of Quebec, that's talking to a Japanese station, JA2. This is a Victor Alpha 2. It was talking to a Japanese station.
Who came back again? Flow at 3,500, few cloud at 11,000, ceiling 24,000 broken, temperature -29er, dew point -33. Repeating 2100 Zulu meter observation, Goose, time 2100 Zulu, wind 270 degrees, 2 knots. Visibility 5 miles. Light snow, few clouds, at 1,800, ceiling 2,900 overcast, temperature -15, dew point -18. This is Gander Radio out. All stations, this is New York Radio, time 2200 Zulu. Terminal airborne aircraft for the crew is making 0700.
Depois de 2 apresentações, médicos confirmaram a morte da Vatican.
Radio Nacional Amazonas in Brazil.
Rádio Jornalismo da NCC, empresa Brasil de Comunicação. Ex-gerente dos Correios é condenada pela Justiça Federal por fraude financeira no plano de saúde dos funcionários. Repórter Joana Moscatelli.
A Justiça Federal condenou o ex-gerente de saúde dos Correios, Marcos da Silva Esteves, por esquema de fraude de mais de 7 milhões de reais no plano de saúde da instituição. Mais 3 funcionários da estatal também foram condenados. O ex-gerente foi condenado a mais de 14 anos de prisão e ao pagamento de multa e ressarcimento do valor roubado dos Correios. Além de Esteves, foram condenados João Maurício Gomes da Silva, com pena de 2 anos em regime semiaberto, Fábio Wilton Fernandes e Hamilton Oliveira Nascimento, que receberam pena de 3 anos em regime semiaberto. Segundo o Ministério Público Federal, o esquema criminoso funcionou entre agosto de 2011 e
o 13º plano quinquenal. A renda para o tratamento de água residual urbana é de 95%. O plano estabelece que o país completará a construção de 125 mil quilômetros de tubulação de esgoto e irá reconstruir 27 mil quilômetros.
Channel Radio International in Portuguese from Albania.
E despego de 50 milhões de metros cúbicos por dia em 2016 a 2020. A China alcançou seu objetivo anual de construção de canais subterrâneos urbanos. O objetivo é promover a urbanidade.
The country today, inside mosques like this one in St. John's, Newfoundland, Muslims gather for Friday.
Pretty amazing signal from CKZN, the CBC outlet of St. John's, Newfoundland.
Liberal MP Judy Foote was among hundreds outside Newfoundland's only mosque.
There is no room for hate in our country. Your home is here with us in Newfoundland and Labrador and in Canada, always.
More than 2,000 kilometers away in Toronto, it's a similar story. Prayer and song encircle this mosque, creating what organizers call a ring of peace.
I can tell you, Thomas, that Joe Adamov, I religiously listened to all of his mailbag shows on Radio Moscow. These were really interesting times. I love that guy's mailbag show.
And strong and saying Canada is better than this, and there's no room in this big country for such bigotry and hatred. That's what we're doing here today.
It was a scene that played out in many cities from Halifax to Edmonton, but some say that Canadian
10715 must be the HM01 Cuban numbers. Yeah, that's HM01, the Cuban number station. It's on 10715. Another one of those popular frequencies. So back to CKZN in Newfoundland, Canada.
First meet face to face. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in New Brunswick tonight to see firsthand the damage caused by an ice storm. At its height, some 200,000 homes and businesses experienced power outages. Today, about 3,000 people are still without electricity. Many live on the Acadian Peninsula. As the CBC's Chris Ensing reports, since the storm, there's been no relief from freezing temperatures.
Roughly 1,700 people live in the town of Neckburn, which Prime Minister Trudeau will visit tonight. And almost all of them are still just thinking about survival 10 days after being slammed by an ice storm. Hundreds are still without power. Charles Bowman only went 3 days without electricity, but that was long enough.
Miserable. Like living in hell.
That would make the local region, the area warming center, heaven. But even they faced dire times. Soon after the storm hit, the kitchen was down to its last dozen eggs. So a 3.5-ton truck packed full of donations pulled into the parking lot.
It's overwhelming. Exciting to see that.
Region President Donald Forbes called a blessing so big it was shared with other sectors in the area. Power outage has gone on so long that demand saw food banks in some towns.
Yep, Carol, it's exactly that. It's a simulcast of Radio 1, the CBC Radio 1 outlet that is across Canada. The only thing is it's delayed. So because of the time zones in Canada, so if you have a local show, say at 6 p.m., well, it's going to play on CKZN a little later because it's an hour later, an hour and a half later than here. So they're going to play it later, but it's really a Radio 1 outlet on shortwave.
Few days without power, but
nobody's prepared for a week.
Well, the storm has brought out the best in many. In some, it's inspired another kind of instinct. Colette the tour saw a light out her window and thought her parents. Not the case.
We looked outside and there was a car and this guy was outside the car cutting the wire. So we heard that they were stealing the copper from the wires because it's money.
After visiting with people here at the Legion in Neguac, Prime Minister Trudeau is moving on to thank soldiers in the area who are here helping with the cleanup. Some communities are lifting local states of emergency as power is restored, and most customers in the region should have power back by the end of the weekend. Presenting CBC News, Neguac, New Brunswick.
U.S. Coast Guard officials say they are calling off the search for Canadian filmmaker Rob Stewart. They say an aircraft will continue to look for him for about another hour until sunset. Stewart disappeared Tuesday off the Florida Keys. After 72 hours, the chances of survival are greatly diminished. Stewart is best known for the documentary Sharkwater.
I've tried many times 9420, but tonight it's not very strong. Let's try it again. No, tonight it's not there, but I usually hear 9420 Grace quite often here, Bobby.
Foot trap. Now the 6 survivors are sharing new details about the tragic night.
Every time I look in the mirror, I'm reminded of that decision that I made, so pretty horrible.
Stories of regret and redemption later on The World at 6. Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale says the government is trying to ensure Canadian dual nationals can still use their Nexus trusted traveler cards at the border. CBC has talked with dual nationals of Iran and Syria who had their Nexus cards revoked following Donald Trump's executive order barring travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries. To get approved for a Nexus card, you have to go through extensive screening and criminal background checks. The cards give low-risk travelers priority entry when traveling to the U.S. and Canada. One day after threatening to punish Iran over that country's recent ballistic missile test, the Trump administration today imposed new sanctions. They target more than 24 people and companies, some from Lebanon and China. The U.S. says they were involved in helping Iran to obtain advanced missile technology. White House spokesperson Sean Spicer hinted more are likely to follow.
The sanctions today, I think, are going to be very, very strong and impactful. And I hope that Iran realizes that after the provocative measures that they've taken, that they understand that this president, this administration is not going to sit back and take it lightly.
The targets of the sanctions are now barred from doing business with anyone in the United States.
Se concrete más rápidamente. En Chile, soy Francisco Oviedo para Frecuencia al Día.
Frecuencia al Día, the DX show on WWCR in Spanish, 6115.
El segmento de las condiciones generales de propagación para las ondas cortas.
Hola, saludos a todos desde Barcelona. Les habla Alonso Moscazo para Frecuencia al Día y estas son las condiciones generales de propagación para el próximo mes de febrero. El flujo solar medio de 2.800 MHz estimado para este mes por el Centro de Predicción del Clima Espacial de la NOAA es 85,1 y a partir de ahí se estiman las siguientes condiciones de propagación HF, como otras veces dentro de un comportamiento global de la ionosfera.
Lindomar, Regan, I do get requests from time to time to have some, caption in different languages for some of my videos and stuff, but it's a little complicated to do, and I'm not, I already spent so much time. If I had a good team and they could do that, I would do it with pleasure. But nice to have you on board, and it's always I get requests also from French users in France. A lot of people would like me to do a French language radio channel and do some French language live shows also, which I'd like to, but it's a little complex, and I for some reason I'm kind of my French is good, but for some reason my I don't know, I feel more confident doing my live shows in English for some reason. 7490, which is WBCQ tonight. Not really there, but WBCQ being so close to me that 7490 often propagates over me.
Son horas cercanas al otro o al ocaso. Y en todas las bandas, como otras veces se darán saltos inferiores a los mínimos mencionados por presencia de ionizaciones esporádicas, mayormente en el hemisferio sur. Hasta aquí las condiciones de propagación. Les hablo desde Barcelona, Alonso Mostato, para Frecuencia al Día.
Okay, this is copyrighted music with Viva la Vida from Coldplay.
Breves de telecomunicaciones.
Breves de telecomunicaciones. Informaciones y datos de televisión y radio. Proporcionados por el ingeniero Miguel Ángel Reyes.
I need to brush up on my Spanish. That DX show seems interesting. They just had the propagation report. I should use this and brush up on my Spanish using this show.
Se venía observando que muchos canales en el país.
Rich in Atlanta, Georgia says 7490 S9. Matt in the UK got it faint 6115. And yeah, I know Greece is there. It was weak a little earlier, but it's just not making it towards me.
13-2016, la cual obliga a los concesionarios y permisionarios a tener equipo de medición de calidad para sus monitoreos. Dicha norma entrará en vigor el 1 de enero de 2018 y se aplicará cada 12 meses. Muchísimas gracias a nuestro colaborador, ingeniero Miguel Ángel Reyes. Ya regresamos.
Any type of retail outlet. So I was, one of the many people that noticed that.
This is CFRX, the medium wave outlet, the shortwave outlet of the medium wave CFRB 1010 on 607 kHz out of Toronto, Canada.
Which is now starting to explain why I hadn't been in one. Yeah, that was kind of the place you could actually go to for that stuff. But music became, unfortunately, secondary. But that's a thing of the past now.
Well, don't worry about it, man, Radio DXer. It's the same thing for my French. I have the Québécois accent. So my French is not, universal clean French. It's a French with that really shows that I'm from the province of Quebec, Canada. So we're probably in the same game. And I do understand you very clearly when you say that your people would not understand you. I would probably get some French people from France saying, what do you say now?
Pre-order from iTunes. When we come back, the Minister of...
Yeah, maybe that's it, Carol. I'm not French enough.
Telling us about... Which I think is a great thing. I mean, when you talk about Donald Trump's immigration ban, and you're watching the trickle-down effect...
Hey, take care, JR. Very nice to have you on board. Tomorrow, by the way, for anybody watching, tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC, another shortwave show. I will be taking out every radio out of my shelves and talking about each radio, showing you guys every single radio I got. So I think that's going to be a really nice show tomorrow. 2000 hours Universal Time.
Who's that? News Talk 1010 for traffic.
We're dealing with a messy Friday commute home. So many problems, which were on the go, have cleared, but getting reports of some of these problems haven't spotted it on camera quite just yet, but it's barely moving on the southbound 404 approaching Shepherd.
Hey there, B-Boy DMP. Nice to have you on board. Hello there, David Harden. Just nice to have you joined.
Traffic just as Star 1010.
I'm happy to be on the internet. I think it's going to be really cool tomorrow's show.
Lane and the merge lane, watched everything drive away. Still looking at about a 20-minute delay from before White's Road. Westbound 401 never recovered from all those earlier problems from this afternoon, so you will find the backlogs from the Cowan right across to the 427, then again from the 410 out towards the 407. Northbound DBC, a parking lot.
And it's going to give me the time to not only show you the radios, but I'll be, of course, cleaning the radios at the same time, since some of them are probably in there for the past year without me touching them. So they probably are dusty. So it's going to give me an occasion to clean them up and to clean that little radio space for another year.
And it's really chilly with the wind. We're sitting at minus 15. Just imagine perfect weather, spectacular scenery, fascinating cities, vibrant people. This is Authentica Cuba, and it's waiting for you at gocuba.ca. I'm Adjua, and this is Toronto's breaking news.
Very weak station that sounds like Chinese or something. Wouldn't be surprised this is like China National Radio coming in. 405945. Yep, China National Radio 1. And it does sound like that. So it means China's making it direct on 5945. This is China National Radio from China direct. Hey there, Gino Italy. Nice to have you on board. SG2 East Nebraska says 7490 S9 Plus right now on the R75. So pretty cool. Heard Radio Rebelde from Cuba in the past few days. I've been going through 5025 at least 2 or 3 times this week and noticed that the frequency is empty. I don't know if they're having transmitter problems, but it seems that Radio Rebelde 5025 is not there lately. Check out a few interesting frequencies we might be interested.
La cabalgata deportiva Gilead, estimados oyentes, por supuesto, claro, que se acuerdan, ¿no?
Sí, basado en amenaza o coerciones de cualquier tipo. Es un momento de continuar.
Radio Havana, Cuba, coming in well on 11760.
A favor de la revolución cubana, porque es la supervivencia de un pueblo y sobre todo la supervivencia de un ejemplo para América Latina y para el mundo.
Le damos las gracias al doctor Luis Solás Vila, presidente de la Asociación Cubana de Derecho Internacional, por este recuento a 50.
Yeah, the Morse code on round 4403 was CW. Morse code signal, amateur radio operators probably in Morse code.
Marianela Samper.
WWCR 2017 en el Palacio de Convenciones de La Habana del 30 de enero al 3 de febrero. Encuentro por la unidad de los educadores, formación de profesionales al servicio de la educación en Cuba y el mundo.
Hey there, Scott in 5XDC. Nice to have you on board. Been a while that we've seen you on any chats. And welcome aboard our shortwave tuning the bands. And for those that are watching and saying, what the hell is that guy doing and what exactly is that? We are tuning the shortwave radio bands with this trusty old ICOM ICR 8500. And my antenna is a 22 meter long sloper antenna in the backyard. So, and we actually are trying to see what we can receive on the shortwave bands tonight. Live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles, and it's always an immense pleasure to do this. Really, really cool. And of course, talking about, let's take a little time to talk about some of the shows here. So I do several shows every week. To give you an idea, tomorrow, Saturday the 4th of February, we have another shortwave show, 2000 hours UTC. It's going to be real interesting. I will take every single radios that I have in storage, and I will show you each radio. I will actually, some of them have a little story behind them. We'll talk that story. We'll talk about, is it crappy, is it good, the bands that they actually can, receive. So it's going to be interesting to see that. Then, for tech guys out there, or techie, or technology people, Tuesday, February 7th, on my Windows channel, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2000 hours UT. It's the live tech show where I answer your tech questions at 3 p.m. And starting this Tuesday, on my Windows 10 Insiders channel, we are going to have the Windows Insiders Hour, which is a show for Windows Insiders where we're going to talk about the latest builds of Windows 10, the insider previews, and what's coming up, and, the underside of what's happening with insider previews and the insider program of Microsoft. That's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern, 2300 hours UTC. This is a new show starting this Tuesday. And of course, next Friday, we should, if everything goes well, have the wideband hangout. That's been a while since I've done that one because of my tech duty. So hopefully I'll have the time to do that one next Friday, February the 10th. And it's at 2000 hours UTC. So hope you guys enjoy the shows. It's really cool to do that. And tonight, of course, we are tuning the shortwave radio bands. 11780, which is Radio Nacional Amazona from Brazil. A little low on the audio tonight.
Um detalhe, os dois já estão inscritos na parte do rádio. Relacionados para a partida contra o Resende.
هم بالصدفة مستحيل. في النهاية عايز أقول لك إن الكتاب المؤلف قريب من نوعه. فقد كتب على مدار 1500 سنة على يد 40 كاتب العبرية والأرامية واليونانية، وتناول المئات من المواضيع، وبالرغم من كده فهو متماسك ومترابط داخليا ومفهوش تناقضات. وليه موضوع أساسي يجري فيه من أوله.
This is from Madagascar, Radio Feda, which is an Egyptian, or an Arabic, sorry, for Egypt. This is like an Egypt broadcast. It's broadcast really to Egypt, it says to North Africa. And this is Radio Feda out of Madagascar. interesting to hear that on the bands.
The evening of Pat.
Sentimos que nuestra fe se tambalea. Nos preguntamos.
Let's do a little tune of the 20-meter band just to see if unusual DX on the 20-meter band ham band. Yeah, not the best of propagation tonight. We could see that signals are not as good as they could be. So let's check out for other signals.
Wherever you may be.
Asociación a el Club dxing Fronteras desde Pernambuco, Brasil, principalmente dedicada a su director, el buen amigo y oyente Antonio Avelino. A continuación escucharemos dos emisiones de dos emisoras importantes. Radio Internacional.
Let's try a 15. I hear WWV on 15 right now. This is really, Matt in the UK got 11790 with a good signal from Radio Fida from Madagascar. So this is WWV that I get. My clock is off by about 5 or 6 seconds. So this is WWV that I get on 15 megahertz rich. So we'll see what 11580.
Agradezco al amigo Antonio Avelino del Club dxing Fronteras el envío de algunos de sus audios más preciados a un servidor. Muchísimas gracias, Dino, por esta oportunidad. Kodar 73.
Let's track 5150, but I didn't hear it earlier. Relay on 5150 is now off the air, Mad Radio DXer. But soon I'll have another special on Pirate Radio, and hopefully will be broadcast once again on different pirate stations. Oh, I will, Thomas. I will never depart from my 11580. You know, we were joking around with me and my nephew the other day, and we were joking around on when we die what we want to have with us in our coffin. And I told him, okay, if I die, make sure that this radio gets into my coffin with me.
I'm Rudy Espinal in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and this is WRMI, Radio Miami International, Okeechobee, Florida, USA, and www.wrmi.net. Send us your comments and reception reports to info@wrmi.net or to WRMI PO Box 526852, Miami, Florida 33152, USA.
This is Glenn Hauser with World of Radio, 1863.
Glenn Hauser's excellent World of Radio program talking about radio and DXing, starting right now on WRMI 11580.
World of Radio is a listener-supported public service program about communications around the world. First and foremost, shortwave. On this edition, recorded February 2nd, Angola, Australia, Bolivia, Canada, Cuba, Ecuador, Eritrea, Korea North, Korea South, Mali, Mexico, New Zealand, North America, Pakistan, Romania, San Marino, Switzerland, Sri Lanka, Sudan South, Thailand, PEC, and the propagation of standard disclaimer. Last week we noted that the Caribbean beach in Angola finally resumed its night frequency 6090 after being off for a few weeks, but not the day frequency. However, by the morning of January 27th, it too had resumed 11775, but both of them still considerably distorted modulation. All ears were on Australia as doomsday January 31st approached for the close down of Radio Australia and the Northern Territory shower services on shortwave. But when exactly? The Pacific Beat program on Radio Australia, 21 UT, January 30th, finally gave the details. Radio Australia would close down at noon Melbourne time, that is 01 UT, January 31st. And so they did, according to numerous monitors, some of them having to use remote receivers. Played Waltzing Matilda a few times, and that was it. ABC News itself reported on this. Mike Cooper forwards a story from UT January 31st, headlined End of an Era as ABC shuts down shortwave service to Pacific. After nearly 80 years of broadcasting to ABC, will today switch off shortwave broadcast to Radio Australia into Papua New Guinea and the Pacific. ABC insists the technology is out of date, and shortwave broadcasts will cease at midday Eastern Australian time. Our public affairs reporter, Liam Fox, says there's been an outcry from affected listeners, while the ABC's critics argue that the switch-off will damage its reputation in the region in return for saving of less than $2 megadollars. John Figliozzi, who could not hear it directly in Florida, said playing Waltzing Matilda for the last time was a nice touch, presumably by the transmitter engineer, a pretty ignominious end. The new and haughty managers, such as are running the ABC, have no sense of history whatsoever. For me, that's the end of a half-century of listening to Shepparton. I'm sorry to see it go, but it was barely a shadow of its former self at the end. Like watching an old friend waste away and finally expiring. Sad. And the Northern Territory services went off when it was noon out there, a sesquihour later, circa 02:30 UT. Paul in New Zealand says the managing director who made the decision is a lawyer and ex-Google and...
Hey there, Anthony Calvillo. Nice to have you on board from Australia.
No broadcasting knowledge. They could save even more money with her resignation. And refers us to an Australian Guardian article of a sesqui month ago headlined, Michelle Guthrie, the ABC, and the turning of a once shining jewel into mainstream sludge. Brian Powell in Sydney refers us to a video of someone symbolically smashing a radio at the front gates of VL8A in Alice Springs, and a member of staff at the transmitter site sending a Morse code farewell. However, Brian Powell, Artie Bigley, and Mike Cooper send the story, which happened right after the Northern Territory stations closed down, headlined, Nick Xenophon leads call for ABC to reinstate shortwave radio. What a name. It's Xenophon. He is a South Australian senator who says he will introduce legislation to Parliament to force the ABC to reinstate its shortwave radio service. The local newspaper, the Shepparton News, has also been covering this, thanks to Mike Cooper, Artie Bigley, Brian Powell, and Mike Terry, for this story, which moved on February 1st. Just what will happen to the Shepparton site is up in the air. Broadcast Australia did not grant requests to visit the site on the day of the final transmission, and has said that no decision has been made on if the facility would be demolished. Although Broadcast Australia did not confirm staffing numbers, a number of former employees said although numbers were larger in previous years, recently there were only about 3 staff at the site.
So hey guys, I'm going to say goodbye for today. We've been on for 2 hours and 35 minutes. I'm going to continue listening to World Radio slowly and start cooking a little food because I'm hungry. And we have another show tomorrow, so hope that you can join us. Hope you had fun. And I really, really enjoy having all of you around all the time. It's really, really nice. You are a great gang. Thank you. Without you, I wouldn't be doing these live shows. It's really, really nice to have a great fan club like I have right now. So thanks everybody for being here. I will do a little plug if anybody feels like they want to help me in any way. I've put the PayPal Yahoo address in the chat if you ever want to do a little donation. It's always very, very welcome. It's something that helps me continue with the crappy monetization that's going on right now with YouTube, and really every penny is reinvested in continuing the live shows and videos and everything. So thanks everybody. See you tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC, and we're gonna take each radio. I'm gonna show you that just to show you for a second, guys. Okay, I'm gonna take the wireless mic with me, and just before we leave, I'm gonna show you what you guys are in for tomorrow, just for the fun of it. Look at this, guys. I have right here. So let's just remove this, and I'm gonna show you guys tomorrow what we are going to look at is everything that's right here in this shelf. So all the radios you see here, okay, there's a lot of them. It doesn't show because a lot of them are stacked in the back, but there's a lot of radios there and there and there. And we're going to go through each radio one by one tomorrow. So you know what? I think it's going to be a really cool show. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So take care, everyone. See you tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC. And have fun. Have a great evening, day, whatever you are. And thanks again for all of you. It's really cool. Bye-bye, friends.